Okay, sound check was correct. Ready to start. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our virtual live stream to give you an update on the Package 2 project, reconstruction project at the airport. My name is Mir Tabril. I'm the project director. Tonight, you may not be able to see my face, but it's great that you will be able to get an update on the progress that we are making on the reconstruction project here at the airport. I'm at the airport right now, so if you do hear any noise in the background, that could be some aircraft that are still leaving at night. But we're also going to be recording this particular live stream so that we can play it back anytime as we go forward. And I do have a team in the background who will be capturing a lot of your questions, should you have any, so that we can also address them during the live stream. So the last time we were able to have this conversation was probably about a year ago when the contractor had just submitted their bids. There has been quite a bit of activity that has been accomplished since then, and this presentation will give you the opportunity to find out what's going on. There are quite a number of videos online that you can go to our YouTube page, uh, where we have been keeping the public address on the project. Anytime you have the opportunity, we would appreciate if you can log on to our YouTube page and take a look. This one will be one of those added to the YouTube page as well. So this project, this is tonight, this virtual project, what I'm going to be explaining you is just giving you an update on the timeline. I'll be explaining you a little bit more about the financing of the project. We'll review some of the accomplishments since Irma, the team behind the scenes, the awarding of the contract, as well as what the contractor is up to since taking over. So what is the project timeline? The last time you were here, like I mentioned, was somewhere in June of last year. We had the bid submission was in. We were about to award the contract in July. And now we have been able to sign the contract in July of 2021. The contractor started the project in October of 2021, and the intention is to have it completed by Q3 of 2023. So 22 months the contractor has put in place that they want to have this completed. And based on the work that's been carried out thus far, we are pretty comfortable with this timeline. There's also a couple of equipment packages that also need to be procured. EP1 would be the passing board and bridges. EP2 would be the baggage handling system. All of those already was tendered. We received those tenders. I believe you were able to see the newspaper articles where we received those bids that came in. And we're expecting to award the board and bridges in April, 2 months from now, and July. In March, we expect to award the baggage handling system. We'll also be working on the security screening equipment, this EP3, as well as the backdrop, which goes up next month, with the intention of awarding pretty soon thereafter. So, as I mentioned, we believe we are on schedule to have this completed. The building will be opening up in phases because we are in a live building. We are utilizing 1/3 of the ground floor. By December of this year, we want to move the operations from the ground floor and have the departure hall opened. We are looking at having all of the concessionaires already in place and all the amenities in place by December so that this Christmas season we can have a lot more space on the departure. The contractor is also working that by March 2023, that we can have the check-in area open, and then we'll go ahead and finalize the other spaces by Q3 2023. Of course, there's always a disclaimer. We hope that we don't have any more issues with COVID and any shipping issues, but based on our schedule, we believe this is a doable phase. The project itself is made up of eight major components, one large one and seven equipment packages. So the first one is package two, the reconstruction of the terminal building, which we already started. EP1, which is the passing board and bridge, will also be, we're expecting those bids to come in. Well, we have them in already. We expect to have them evaluated within the next 2 weeks. Baggage handling system, the same. Security equipment, which is EP3, we expect that also to be going out. That's a direct procurement. EP4, which is the self-service backdrop, we expect those to go out, as I mentioned in the timeline, as well as the others, which is the digital sign-in, the seating, furniture, fixtures, and appliances. Those all are on schedule as well. There's going to be some major improvements in our airport by the time we're done. We had an opportunity during the design work to speak with a lot of our stakeholders, the concessionaires, the airlines, even the immigration, customs. We had discussions with them on what was working for us in the old process and what needed to be enhanced. One of the largest things that we're going to have is the terrazzo floors, which is a beautiful design in the floor. The doors were going to be re-enhanced. We were able to already strengthen the roof up to 185 miles per hour. We're going to utilize better floor space, escalators at all the bridges, backdrops that we mentioned. When you see the video display, you'll also see that we have large flight information displays within the building. Elevators, new elevator will be introduced. And we even had a change for our car rentals where they're going to be closer to the arrival area than they were before. So quite some changes within the terminal. Being a World Bank project, we're also looking for sustainability, where we're going to be using more LED lighting, sensors throughout the building to ensure that lights go off when they're not supposed to be on. Low flow fixtures, again, the utilization of all of the technologies out there to ensure that we can reduce the energy usage throughout the building. Baggage handling system will be also upgraded, and the BMS, which is the building management system, is a tool that we're going to be using to monitor any alarms throughout the building and be able to make adjustments automatically when we have less persons within the building to again reduce the utilization of lights as well as the cooling system in the building. The World Bank also have environmental and social standards. There's 10 of them that normally regulate any project that the World Bank is overlooking. Not all of them are always applicable. For this particular project, 6 of them are applicable. We have been able to work with the World Bank to have documentations to address all of these issues. For example, the mold spore monitoring. We had to ensure the building was clean, remediated before we started the construction. We also have an ongoing understanding with the contractor to come down and monitor the mold within the building to ensure that it's still at acceptable levels. Emergency preparedness response as well. Waste management. Anything that comes out of the building, how are we going to dispose of it environmentally correct? The code of conduct to ensure that we have rules and regulations on how people are going to conduct themselves on the project. And one of the most important one is the stakeholder engagement plan, which is why we are having these public outreach campaigns, where we have the opportunity to engage with all our stakeholders, not just those at the airport, but those also on the islands, those who are utilizing the airport, that we have the opportunity to update you on what's going on and give you the opportunity to also let us know what you would like change, if there's any kind of concerns, any kind of grievances. Again, that's also grievance redress mechanism is one of the the components that we have within the ESS package. This grievance redress mechanism is talking about you being able to submit any kind of complaints about the project. We know there's certain folks that may have issues that we may not know about, and we may be going on about the project, and we could tweak and make things better. And only with you coming up with your complaints or suggestions, we know what you're thinking, and we can be able to address them. There's numerous ways of you doing that. You can go online, ssmairport.com page. You can email us. Again, our email address is p2projects at ssmairport.com. There's a drop box within the airport, and you can even give a call to the airport, and they will take that information, drop it across to us, and we will be able to address a lot of your concerns. At this point, I'd like to take the opportunity to just quickly go through the video that gives an understanding of what the project is into. So as you enter the airport, you will already see on the floor flight information displays. On the ground, you can also see the terrazzo flooring that we mentioned. Kiosks for check-in, number of them. Backdrop will be also a new introduction to the project. Doors will be enhanced, structurally enhanced to ensure that we can withstand any kind of hurricanes. Visually, wayfinders, it will indicate exactly how you move around the terminal. Ticket offices will be redesigned. Even the desk for the airline check-in agents will be modified to allow them to easily get back into the back of the counters. New elevator would be in that location. Video walls, and again, the concept, you can see the beautiful flooring of the terrazzo flooring that gives us the new elements. This is the food court on the ground level, which is going to be redesigned again to be very open and airy. The dark areas that you see in the back would be where the concessions would now set up their offices. Before you go up, you go through the boarding pass readers, you take the stairs, escalator, or elevator up to the departure level. You go through security screening, and then we go through the electronic gates, e-gates, which is immigration on the way out into the departure hall. Again, we're looking at large flight information displays with the timing. A kids area will be on that level. Our food court on this level 1, departure level. And terrazzo flooring throughout the whole space. We're going to be incorporating a lot of lights in the building, a lot of glass, so that we can have the natural lighting coming through. The restrooms are being redesigned. Beacons, nice wayfinding, modern look. Even the elevator that we had on this floor is going to be modified into glass elevator to allow more lighting in. Executive lounge, which is also a business class lounge, has been modified with now two levels. As you can see, once you go to level, the top floor of the business class lounge, there's also going to be a deck which allows you to look into the departure hall. We have relocated the gate that was on this side of the terminal. We moved it a little bit more over to the corner so we can maximize on the use of retail on this particular level. For those who have known the airport very well, this was a bit sterile, so we now have a bar that's going to be also available at the A1, A2 area. For persons arriving, normally you would take the elevator or stairs down. You will now be greeted with an escalator on arrival. Escalator allows the smooth transition from the arrival segment into our arrival on the bottom floor, where you can see now we're going through the sand, sea, and sun location. Once you're in the arrival corridor, we'll be utilizing our automatic border control kiosk, something like the ESTA, where you'll be able to go through immigration using these systems. Some folks may still have to go through the manual process, but once you pass immigration on the way in, you go down the stairs where you'll be now in our reclaim location. 3 belts will be put back into operation. As you can see on the floor, the terrazzo flooring goes all the way through. Renovated restrooms on all levels. As you're departing from the reclaim to the meet and greet location, before you meet your family and friends, you'll be passing through the car rental location. Where we mentioned that we had discussions with the car rentals to be able to bring them a bit closer to the arrival segment. Once you pass through where the car rentals are going to be located, you'll be in the meet and greet where you meet your friends and family. As you again will be greeted with the flight information displays in this location, our reception, and where the car rentals were before Irma is going to be transitioned into a nice bar. All of this, we expect to have this completed by 2023. This video is also on our page, so you can always go and take a look. There's also the team behind the whole situation, because even though we have the contractor, we need to ensure that the airport's information is well protected, and we have someone who's going to make sure the interest of the airport is completed. So we have the PMU, which is the project management unit. We are working along with the National Recovery Program Bureau, NRPB, to implement this particular project. And I'll explain you why the NRPB is part of this in the World Bank. I'm the project director. I have a full team: environmental specialist, financial controller, project manager, procurement officer, and a secretary. We work along very closely with the communication of the airport, advisors from Schiphol, as well as the designer, Corgan, who did all of the design work. Along with the project coordinators and the supervising engineer, we are the ones dealing with the contractor as well as the suppliers for the equipment packages to implement this project. The project itself became effective in 2020, April 2020, but the end of December 2022. We were expecting to finish, but of course we had certain changes that needed to happen. So we're now looking at the third quarter of 2023 to have this completed. The total funding for the project is $129 million. And I'll give you a bit of a breakdown on how that funding is carried out. For all of the work that is risk to the building, to the project is substantial, but we have been able to satisfactorily implement all of the processes thus far, which has given us a satisfactory rating with the World Bank. The project is built up into four components. Component one is the reconstruction of the terminal building, which includes the equipment packages. Component two is the capacity building, where we are able to pay for some of the project management support. Component three is a component that is being addressed by the NRPB as a grant. We're using this for training. And component four is we're supposed to be put there only for operating expenditure should we need it in the event of a additional hurricane. But we were able to utilize this when COVID shut down the airport. We were able to pay our expenditures for um, salaries as well as utilities came out of this particular component. So how is it broken down? $50 million is being allocated by the World Bank, $50 million by the European Investment Bank, and the airport was supposed to put $7 million as well for $107 million package, 500,000 for component two, 500,000 for component three, and component four is 21 million, which is the liquidity support that I indicated the airport needed to tap into, especially during COVID, for us to be able to pay salaries as well as operating expense. So the funding for this particular project, I needed to take you a little bit further back to why this is happening. The government of the Netherlands gave the St. Martin government a grant of $553 million. This was put into a St. Martin Recovery, Reconstruction, and Resilient Trust Fund. This was established back in April 16, 2018, and the government of the Netherlands put the World Bank in charge of managing the funding this $553 million. The government of St. Martin, via the Council of Ministers, accepted this package. And they had to put implementation units, which is the National Recovery Program Bureau, in place where they would be able to implement all of the projects associated with the monies from this resiliency trust fund. Now, what does this have to do with the airport? The airport normally had its own insurance. We were supposed to be able to carry our own reconstruction after the terminal, after the hurricane. But we all remember we were in arbitration with the insurance, and we also had a indenture that was there before. We had a loan in 2013, and bondholders were the ones who were going to be paid out before we would be able to get anything from the insurance. So in our discussions with the government of St. Martin, they were able to make $72 million available via a grant to the airport. 50 million, as I mentioned before, was for the reconstruction, and 21 million was for the operation expense and liquidity support component four. When that came to fruition, the European Investment Bank also matched that with $50 million for the construction project. So the European Investment Bank gave St. Martin government a loan of 50 million. We got a They got a grant of 72 million out of the trust fund, and they gave it to the airport as an on-lending agreement, 122 million, via the National Recovery Program Bureau. And with this, the airport put their 7 million together, making the whole project $129 million project. Because the World Bank was put to manage the trust fund monies, they automatically implemented, and they are also managing how the airport is being able to implement this particular project. And the European Investment Bank, seeing that the World Bank is already managing, did not put anyone else to overlook it. They are authorizing the World Bank to work in their interests. When we did receive the monies, as I mentioned before, we have the World Bank funding from the trust fund, EIB funding, the airport's input, 107 million. When we had our arbitration and we received the money from the insurance, we could not just jump up and use that monies back. A lot of it was allocated for work that needed to be done on the project. We had the sprinkler system needed to be done. We had the project of the mall remediation, the demolition and waste disposal. All of this came out of the monies from the insurance. The architectural work for the designers, third party support, the lawyer fees and stuff like that. The supervising engineer, it's, the liaison between us and the contractor, they are also being paid out of this particular the insurance money. We also needed to ensure that we have an insurance in place for the construction. So all of this, along with the project overhead, is part of some of the monies out of the insurance that we promised the bondholders that we would make sure that these items were taken care of. A sum of $24 million. Here's where we have now $131 million for the project. So just a quick recap on what all happened after the hurricane. 2017, we had a hurricane. We had Maria not too long after. In October 2017, we started our commercial flights. By November, we could start with night flights. We had pavilions that we constructed. These were the large tents with air conditioning. We started our roof repair in March. And right around that time is when we figured out we didn't have the money from the insurance anymore because we were in arbitration with the insurance company. We were able to continue with package one, remediation, the construction, and by the end of 2018, we were able to move into the terminal. New CEO came in 2019. Package one, we had the supervising engineer is now on board. The more remediation was carried out. And by March of 2023, March 2021 is when the bids came in. After all of the evaluation, Dallas Nadam was awarded the contract in July 2021. We signed the contract on 24th of August 2021, and on the 4th of October, they took over the location and started their work. We had a groundbreaking ceremony on the 18th of October, and I know all of this was in the newspapers, keeping everyone updated. These are just some photos of the persons who all came for this memorious activities and signing. Prime Minister has been to all of the events. I want to just take a look at this particular one in the middle here. This here is Lavani Clark, who is one of the project coordinators with a very important instrument in the middle. This is the 360-degree camera that was used to take and map the whole terminal to ensure that we would be able to allow the bidders to see what the terminal looked like without them having to travel to St. Martin. This camera allowed us to do 3D imaging of the whole terminal, which was then put online, and the contractor was able to, at that point, virtually walk through the terminal, make their assessment so that they could submit their bids. This is just some ceremonies. Again, we have the National Recovery Program Bureau, our supervising engineer, the resident engineer of the supervising engineering firm, as well as the project management team. So what has happened since then? The project, the, the contractor has been able to bring their key personnel onto the project. They're double checking and doing their site surveying, the project planning, the zero surveying, because as I mentioned before, they did not physically see the terminal when they bid it. Now that they're on site, they needed to now verify all of the drawings, the scope of work, and ensure that if there was any questions or clarification that was required, that they got the opportunity to ask those questions for us to be able to work those out. There was a lot of security fencing because we needed to ensure that the operation remains the airport operations continues. This they put up their site office signage throughout, and they're now working on providing us shop drawings moving forward with their submittals. They have hired security firms, waste management. They explained us exactly how they're going to get rid of all of the waste. And in December, I think we all remember there was a job fair in December 2021 where over 300 persons came to the airport, and hopefully we'll have about 150 to 200 of them participating in the contract, the project. Presently, the contractor is carrying out dismantling works throughout the building. A job hazard. Every time they need to do something, they need to explain to us as well as supervising engineer how are they going to carry out this particular project without impacting the operations within in the building. So a lot of documentation, a lot of double checking, triple checking to ensure that we do not hamper the operation as it goes forward. Of all of those things, we're also trying to salvage as much as we can and donate to any of the entities on the terminal in the on the island that can utilize these things that comes out of the building. This is just some random photos of the site office for the contractor. Some sites this here is over next to Thrifty, a location that you will soon see a warehouse being built on, as well as right across from Winier, we have property for the airport that's going to be utilized by the contractor as well. A lot of dismantling work has been carried out in the project thus far. As you can see, toilets has been taken out, the whole restroom has been demolished. They're doing, we're going to have a updated restroom by the end of this project. A large hole was dug for the new pit for the elevator. And of course, upcoming milestones will be the equipment packages. And we're also doing the e-gates that are also going to be coming back as well. As I mentioned, the equipment packages number 1 and 2 came in already. We had 3 bids. They ranging from 2.8 to $4 million for the baggage handling system. Sorry, the passenger boarding bridges. And EP2, which is the baggage handling system, the bids range from $5 million to $18 million. 3 bids as well. Hopefully, within the next month, we will be able to let everyone know who was chosen to carry out these 2 supplies. So, just a quick recap: the airport is operational, but we will be phasing it as we go. The financing is secured. The World Bank has ensured that the financing is in place. The airport has also has that money, with $7 million on a particular bank that is being used for this particular project. We are going to keep you guys updated as much as possible. We have planned public outreach campaigns where we'll be going into the other facilities. So keep your eyes out on the newspapers when we will be in your locations so we can have physical discussions with you on the project. More remediation, the pre-works was carried out already. The waste disposal was done. The contractor is on board, and yes, the work has started. We want to keep you informed. We want you to also be able to let us know if there's any issues and complaints. So please log on to our website and let us know what you think of the project. If there's anything that you're missing that you would need more information on. Questions can always be emailed to us and let us know what you think of the project. There's also a survey that we had where we gathered quite a number of information on some of the concerns that the passengers had, some of the concerns that the airlines had, and we are addressing those as we go. So at this point, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and allow me to ramble a little bit about how proud I am of this project. And we do hope to see you personally in one of those public outreach campaigns in a neighborhood near me. Thank you. Bye bye.